You're watching David Hammond and Philip Garcia.
And all right, guys, what is going on? How are you all doing? Welcome back to another podcast on the Creator Chats podcast. I'm with the one and only Philip Garcia, guys. Before I let Philip give an intro to who he is, because this is the precursor. This is here before before too many podcasts hit and everyone eventually knows your story. Like, this is like the exclusive kind of like before the pre, if that makes sense. But anyways, guys, we have the setup. All is good. Haroon is not here today. He is a little busy, so we're just going to run it us two. And yeah, Philip, give an intro to the people. Essentially, let's say they don't know you, because we've done quite a bit.
I need to practice these intros anyways. This is actually really good.
Bro, me too.
Okay, my name is Philip Garcia. I'm a singer-songwriter, artist, producer, and I also do a bunch of other stuff. I do video stuff on YouTube, and I was born in Canada, but I grew up in Portugal. Now I'm back in Canada, but I also kind of go all over the place, and I document my journey, write songs, produce. Yeah, I feel like that's the gist.
Dude, awesome.
We're going to get better at that intro.
No. Oh, bro, if someone asked me my intro, what would I say? I'd be fucked. I'd be lost. I actually have no clue. Yeah, guys, essentially, give me one sec. Essentially, Philip is a modern day singer-songwriter. Just like the mini doc. And the reason I say modern day is because I think that encapsulates or includes video, this, that, the social media, everything. If you're not, I don't really think you're a modern day singer-songwriter. It's almost like, you know what's funny, man? It's almost like being a singer-songwriter is just now part of the mix. Like, you're so much more than that.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you saying that, yeah, it's true, but like, that's just like, and I feel like that's why when people ask me, what do you do? It's a little tricky to answer because that's almost like required. Like, of course, you have a podcast video, like,
yeah.
Right? So I feel like there are like many pieces to the pie. So
That's what excites me so much about this time is that it's so, you can't just be really good at singing and a really good artist. Like,
yes,
you can be, and if you want to be behind the scenes, cool. But if you want to be like The Weeknd or whatever it is, you have to be good at, even though like he escapes it in his way, like he doesn't do interviews and stuff. Like, there are artists that do that, but if you want to be really successful, you got to be good at all angles, and that like cancels out a large group of like to-be artists in this new generation or new genre, I guess you could say.
Yeah, what would you say to those artists then? Because I'm sure you've met a ton of musicians who maybe have the technical skill of being, musically inclined. Like, I've been to your gigs, I've seen these people who are like, like they're good, but you can tell
there's just
maybe there's no
piece.
Presence, maybe there's missing pieces. What would you say to those guys? Because I'm sure they're, we're just in general.
Pessimistically, I think it's something you kind of have or you don't, but you can nurture the ability. Just to be aware that you need to be good at talking to people and communicating with people. I think it's all about communication and learning how to get across what you're trying to say, because sometimes people come across really fake when they're trying to sell you something or trying to tell you to become fans of their music. And yeah, I think that's just it. I think it's just being genuine as possible and learning to communicate.
So being genuine first, the talent or the skill afterwards, essentially.
Yeah.
Because
both. Yeah.
What's kind of
I feel like they're kind of separate, but
right. What's kind of funny is like the new assistant Haroon guys. Like, I've made it very clear to him, and I think you guys as well, that I've made it very clear to him that I would rather us mesh and connect, but you not be as good at photography and videography, then you be amazing at photography and videography, but we don't mesh. Because my brother, like, I have people like that, and I think you're right. Like, there are two separate things that you need. Like, I believe like being a modern day creative or singer, songwriter, or anything, it literally involves, it's not just your talent anymore. I think back in the day, like, that was fine because you could have other people do your press and you're this, your social media, like, you could stay behind the scenes as long as you sing.
The camera was rarely on.
Yes, exactly. Where now, like,
camera's always on.
It's a prerequisite. And I almost believe that is more important than your actual talent, who you are, your charisma.
Yeah,
I think Russ, we're just listening to Russ for like 15 minutes. Russ is a badass motherfucker, but like, yeah, he's good at singing, he's good at music, but like, he's just a cool dude.
Yeah.
And if he didn't have that, not in a second, because there's no relatability. I wouldn't like his story, So
yeah, it's changed so much that like your favorite artist, or you can't even call them an artist anymore because that's just the label that you put behind them. But they're your TV, they're your their radio. You become everything. Whereas before, you listen to Queen or whatever it was, you listen to them throughout a period of time, but then you'd go watch them live. But like now, it's like you can watch Ed Sheeran from now to watching him live. Like you're with him the whole time. So yeah, prerequisite of being that personality on online is like so important.
It's everything. What would you say to people to strengthen that? Because I know, you kind of said like maybe it's kind of something you're born with, but like to the people who don't have that,
I think it's just practice in front of camera. I feel like we were just talking about this off camera about like how intimidating the cameras are. I think it's just practicing with the camera so that you are yourself, whatever that means, on camera.
Interesting. See, I like that because I think a lot of times there's cop outs as far as like, oh, I'm just not good on camera. And I think like, no, you can't do it. Like that's like saying, oh, I just can't work. No. Yeah. You can't use that anymore. We're all good on camera. It's literally that. Like it's a skill. It's like playing soccer. Like it's literally turning on cameras and just practicing being involved in it. Because like, no, dude, you're 100% right. If there's any chance or way that you're going to become successful in anything, there are going to be cameras. There are going to be things like that. And it's something that like you need to be okay with. So we were talking about how this podcast is essentially like a stepping stone to those bigger boys, with the 4 cameras, the 8 people in the background, so I think that's it.
To contest the people that say like, I'm not good on camera. It's like, it's not that you're not good on camera. It's just that you're afraid that the fake person that you're putting on camera isn't going to catch up to the real person. And when people meet you, no, because that's what it is. Like if you're yourself, then you shouldn't really be afraid. And that's okay. Like just work. I'm still working on it. That's why like it's still the same when I get on camera. I still got a little bit of like, I get nervous or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. No, me too.
Just calling out everyone.
Dude, that is a complete different. You're talking loud enough, eh? I'm just gonna leave that there with you.
Yeah,
I think you're talking loud.
Oh yeah, I am.
All right, awesome.
Maybe too loud.
Oh really?
No.
Okay, no.
No. It's good.
It's good.
Okay. It peaks. It peaks like.
Don't worry, bro.
It goes loud and then like low, but
no.
It's good.
Yeah, don't even change it. Let's just keep it. Awesome. Yeah, guys, it was great having Philip on here because obviously him being musically inclined, this process was a bit faster. He can help me set things up. Oh, guys, I don't know if you've noticed, but we have the new mugs, the Creator Chats podcast mugs. What is up? How are you doing? Camera, get a good look at that. Philip is the first guest, guys. And you know what? Let me give a little bit of backstory to Philip because I don't know why, man, but I just keep feeling with these podcasts, like a lot of people we don't know are watching them. I don't know if it's like the atmosphere. Philip and I have been homies for a very long time. Actually, you want to tell the story? Yeah,
it's not that long.
It's not that long. Tell the story just a little bit. Paint the picture a little bit of how we met and how things have evolved, and I'll fill in my kind of gaps.
Yeah, so people probably know, but they maybe don't. We're in Pickering.
Essentially, I'm in like Ajax, but like we're
outside of Toronto. If people don't.
Yeah,
know.
Just about half an hour outside of Toronto. Yeah,
and I moved out here like a couple of years ago, and after a year of being here, a year and a half, and I was working on music, and I was getting my online presence on, whatever.
Perfect.
And David contacted me on Instagram, DM, and I was like, who the heck is this guy?
The holy ways, guys. You never know.
And he just wanted to meet up and basically, you know what David's about, just meet up and have a feel for each other. And I was just kind of like, oh, okay. Like when anyone contacts you, you're kind of just like, oh, okay, because you feel kind of like you're alone on this process. At least I did at the time. Right. So I wasn't sure what people wanted. But awesome. Met up at a coffee shop eventually, and we had a conversation, and we're like, oh, this was kind of a connection. It was like, and then we just built up over time, and then we started doing podcasts together. And
guys,
he advised me on videos. Like I've learned so much from David,
and vice versa. Same with audio and just a bunch of other things. Yeah, guys, it was so funny. Like I'd never in 1,000 years expected Philip and I to hang out like this. When we first met, dude, I didn't even know if you spoke English that well. No, you did. But like the first memory I have of Philip is like I picked him up at Tim Hortons and we went to like a coffee shop. And like Philip said a few words. He didn't talk too much. He said a few words. He was just like, hi, or like the weather's cold or some stuff like that. And like I think it was like the way he said it. Like I was like, because I remember I think I messaged you and you were like, oh, I live in Toronto. So I was like, okay, like that's kind of weird. Like you probably came from somewhere, yada yada. And like, yeah, I don't know why. That was like my first thought. I was like, this guy does not speak English. He's probably like a weird motherfucker. But then within like half an hour of talking, I was like, oh, fuck. Like, this is awesome. And then when we started to hang out, actually, that's when I was like, what the hell? Like, this guy, what? It was crazy. Yeah. And
no, and I it's so rare to find people, like we are incredibly rare, but it's so hard to find people like-minded. At least it has been for me. And I mean, I shut myself indoors too, so it doesn't really help. But yeah, when I met you, I was just like, oh, this guy kind of like, he seems to get it. But I wasn't like convinced right away. But then obviously over time, we were just like, every month we were kind of just more like, what the fuck? Dude, how are we compatible? Yeah, we're like connecting so much and
you know what it was?
Get it.
dude, like the talks that I have here with you guys, like sometimes I go pretty deep. Like with Philip, like off camera, obviously you're gonna go deeper. Like, not to be, cocky or whatever, but like just objectively speaking, like I never really had too many people or friends that I could even talk about these things with, like deep philosophical talks about life and our purpose and the reason we're here. And Philip, like every single time, was not only able to keep up, but throw things back at me that had me think like, what the hell, like shit. And I honestly mean that. Like till this day, I don't think I've ever met someone that I've been able to have that relationship as far as like talking with, like never. And that was actually a huge reason why this, like, I give so much credit to Philip as far as why this podcast is here now, because I don't know if you want to talk about it, but like our first podcast we ever did was actually at Philip's house. So
yeah, this feels like after all the prep work,
this is like a pure manifestation based on two guys, late evening, just chilling, nothing to do. No one hitting up our phone. No one giving a fuck about who we are, what we're doing. I'm not saying we're massive right now. Well, actually, no, we are fucking massive. So my dick. And we just created a podcast at his. So I just think choose your friends wisely. But again, like your friends will choose you. I found Philip. It's all gut, guys. It's all based on spontaneity, whatever you want to call it. I saw what he was doing. He was this young little guy. I saw a sponsored post actually. Checked out his YouTube. Realized, this guy lives near me. I'll reach out. And if I did not reach out, I'd be fucked. I'd literally be screwed. Like, Phil's been, saying this to you guys, the only other person I've met, like, in tangible form that's going as hard as I am. Period. Like, I don't know a single person going as hard as me. Like, willing to sacrifice everything. I honestly don't.
Yeah.
So, I find that really cool.
Ditto. Yeah, I can. Yeah,
man. Shout outs to you, bro, for coming into David's life and vice versa. And now we're here with the podcast. So what's
get the mug. My name's Philip Garcia, and you are watching the Creative Project.
Do it, man.
Use it as the sound, but this is going to be the intro, or maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, we're still figuring it out.
But
do you feel there's like no urgency too, like with this podcast? Like there's no.
Yeah, no.
It feels very. That's what I love about it.
Yeah.
I don't need to be like, okay.
No, but I was just actually thinking about how like we started these podcasts, or David started these podcasts.
No,
But like we both feel like we're at a point where we're like, we did a lot of our foundation work, and there's so much growing still to do. Don't get it twisted. But it's funny how we're both at that time, and like this feels like the new podcast. This is like a setup. This is like it's a new platform. You're going. Same with me. Like I'm starting to make a bunch of music. I'm not on social media right now. I've been kind of dead, but
we're
like
gonna talk about that. I'm so stoked.
But yeah, I feel like it's a new platform, new level. We climbed up level 5 or whatever it is, and now we're like
starting fresh.
Yeah, we're starting fresh, and we're excited, and it's
so funny.
Like at the same time too.
Oh, that's the next thing, guys, that I forgot to mention. Philip and I are identical. We're literally like, I think life or God just cloned us and just put us in like two different bodies. It's so fun. I don't know if you guys can relate with this, but almost every single problem or issue I have on this hero's journey, this creator's journey, Philip in some way relates to the exact same thing. And not just like relate where it's like, oh yeah, I hear you. Like, no, like I'm going through the same fucking shit, bro. It's so funny. Our spiritual evolution, our journey as far as like when we started our crafts, when we started going through issues with our crafts, when we began to get pretty freaking good at our crafts, even the people watching, like the amount, like it's very similar.
Mm-hmm. And we were like, there's just like a couple things like externally in our lives that happen, like single mom, brother.
Very interesting.
You were really good at something at a younger age, and then you dropped it. Right. I was really good at something at a younger age. There's just like a couple things that happened that we were like,
who's there? Yeah.
I mean, outside looking in, people might be like, that's not that weird, but like,
no. But you guys would have to know, like, no, it is fucking weird in the best of ways. So yeah, let's go ham into your music then, dude. I want you to paint them a picture, because we were just speaking about, and don't worry about if you guys hear those noises, don't worry. We were speaking about how we've both been doing our foundation work. I need to keep it on you for, let's say, like four or 5 years. And now it feels like we're at a new playing field. Like everything, like you know what's funny, man? It almost feels like our entire history is wiped clean. Like no one would know.
Yeah.
and we've just like peaked the surface, and like we're like in the eyes of society like brand new. Like, who the fuck are these new guys? They haven't done anything for 4 or 5 years because like that's all gone. They've never seen the houses before this. They're seeing this, right? The song's coming out. So like, explain a little bit about that as far as like paint the picture to them as far as your music, like the 4 or 5 years, the EPs now reaching the X1. Speak of like the transition to like even ASAW, like how your spiritual evolution as far as those.
Yeah.
And I'll touch on it with my stuff, I guess. We'll figure it out.
Well, I'll do a brief like recap of like when I was 16, when I moved here from Portugal. That's when I started writing songs, and like as soon as I finished writing my first song, I decided that this was going to be my life. This is my career. I always do it with everything I do. I always decide something, and I'm like, this is what I'm doing.
100%.
And then for the first 2 years, I took lessons, singing lessons, and guitar lessons, and I basically learned the craft because I knew I had to like spend at least 2 years like learning.
Right.
And then 2017, so that was like 2014. 2017, I started recording in my cousin's studio, and then eventually built up enough songs, and we recorded and produced, and then we made 5-song EP. I released that in 2018, after releasing some singles in 2017 and 2018, and then I was like, okay, cool. These songs are really good, but I just have the urge to make more music, and these songs were costing a lot to make. And I was like, I'm tired of like waiting on someone else to make music. Like I hate when something else is in someone else's hands, and that's no disrespect to anyone. Like the people who helped me, like helped me so much. Yeah. But so I started producing on my own, and then 2018 released 1 EP. 2019, top of 2019, 3 months later, another EP. 3 months later, another EP. So that was 4.
2019 was a big.
21.
19 was a root year.
Yeah,
that was a
for
root,
sure. For video and for music.
Everything.
Yeah.
You said what? 4 EP? 3, 4?
In 2019, 4 EPs.
Holy.
Sorry, 3 EPs.
Okay.
Technically 4 because it was the last one was 8 songs, and the ones before
that was in 20. Yes, then 4.
I mean, it was Comfort, Loose, and then ASAW.
Okay,
but it was like 4 songs, and then 8 songs. So basically an album, but yeah, more because there was a visual and idea behind each 100%.
One. And now coming into 2020.
Was that a brief recap? Was that
No, that was perfect. That made sense to me.
Okay.
Like the EPs of all 2019, how that was which it was, and now just capping 2020. Like what's the next thing?
What's the resolution? What's the start?
Or like, what are you working on now? Like, I don't want to say because it's like, I'm not gonna.
No, yeah, there's no secret. I'm more than happy. Anyone who finds this, I'm more than happy to tell. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people that don't care, but like, if you care enough to come here, I'll give you a little bit of treats.
Good boy.
Not to sound too condescending, but I'm making music I'm preparing for an album, but that won't be coming for a long while until I have enough people that want to hear it. That's when I'll drop an album. It's just, we talked about this. It's a smarter way of going about things. But right now I'm just making a shit ton of music, and then I'm going to be releasing music, like a song every 3 weeks or something. I'm just going to keep, maybe like starting April or May, I think I'm going to start every 3 weeks or something like that. I haven't really thought it through.
Yeah, that's the plan for
until
now.
I have like, a good stock amount of songs and I know what's going where. That's when I'll,
And let's actually paint the picture as far as like adaptation and stuff like that, because Philip and I have had so many plans, myself included, as far as like, I'm going to release, this video or this song here, and then I'm going to wait till I have this and then this, and speak of how that changes and fluxes and how that's for the better. Like that's kind of how ASAW was like even created, and I say that with myself too, with like daily this or this or this or this, so like explain that, because like regardless, like I know you and myself, but I know you're going to be like hella successful with your stuff, but it's almost like we're just gonna like let that happen. Like you don't need to, like, we almost are at the point where like we don't know, bro. Like you could release a song a month from now, you might not release a song till like 5 months. The album so like kind of I guess touch on that with like it changes, and like that's okay.
Yeah.
Because like we don't know, right?
Yeah, right now I'm not at a point of planning too much. I mean, I am and I am not. That's why I've been quiet. I've been very quiet on social media for like a month now, which is unlike me because I've been like
working, bro.
It feels weird, but like I have no urge to go back. And every day I wake up and I'm like, is it am I
Is
gonna
it time?
start?
Is it
But it's like
time?
I'm like, nah, and it's kind of weird, but like
That's all. Yeah, it's amazing.
I'm not gonna push. But yeah, I was very planned out in my first few EPs, and now I'm kind of, although there's still a big grand scheme,
Mm-hmm.
it's a bit more flux and a bit more open. And I think it's good to have, like David's saying, it's good to have that a bit of openness to, because how confident are you in yourself to, like, do you really need that step-by-step plan? Like, aren't you confident enough in yourself to follow through without, like, you have to wake up at this time, blah, 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 blah. Like,
So funny.
but then there's the side of like, you know yourself and you know you need that.
So creating that out of love for your own self, that's amazing. Yeah,
but it's a give and take. Like I think
100%.
there is definitely that side to me, and I need to plan things out, and I
Yep.
still do. And I'm starting to learn to like back off and just like chill out a bit too, because that's a lot of like holding on
It
to
is,
life
man.
like this, and it's not really healthy.
It is. And I wasn't even so much talking about that. I just meant like no, that's so true. I just meant as far as like, even if we do plan, we have such little control at the end of the day. Like I can say I want this, and this is actually something that's really, really been resonating with me. I can try to hold on to certain styles of video and say, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to have this podcast exactly like this for this long. Man, if I can save you guys time, you have no fucking control. Like, I'm not saying that you're going to fail on that, but like things just change and adapt. And what I've really learned and been doing now with my channels is just like fully accepting that, you know, beforehand, my perfectionism was so tricky where it's like, no, I can't make that style of video because I've regimented this playlist. It has to fall into here. Even if my gut wanted to make it, I was like, no, we're now, man, like, and it's scary doing that because we're so used to like myself. Like that's where my structure comes into play. Where now I've deleted every single playlist on every channel. It's just uploads. It's whatever comes. Yeah, literally. So like I didn't delete the videos, but the playlist, like tutorial, vlog, no, they're all just like what comes. If it's a mesh of some, so be it. I've never done that before. And like, I guess I'm just saying to you guys, I was so tired of constantly making a playlist regimented and then it changing. And I was like, fuck this. Like it doesn't feel organic enough and it felt too structured. So I guess to you guys, work, produce, but allow it to come out. It's like a flower. Plant a flower, but allow it to sprout how it wants to sprout. I don't know if that sounds silly, but that's essentially what
Yeah.
We're coming up to an intermission pretty soon. I can tell these cameras are about to. But we got time. Do you feel the no urgency though? Don't you feel like how it's just like we could literally sit for like 2 minutes and just not say anything? Just ASMR.
I'm just trying to process things right now.
I'm in no rush, bro. I'm just so grateful and enjoying like our presence and what we've done. And I keep seeing 4-4 every time I look at my monitor. And I'm just so grateful for everything of our journey. For you guys, mainly for me and Philip, but for you guys too. I don't think people give themselves enough credit, man. Thank you guys so much for fuck that. Thank yourself, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I created this shit, not you guys. What the fuck? You're a manifestation of my work. Thank yourself. I think people just say thank you guys because we don't want them to leave. Fuck that. If you leave, I'll find more motherfuckers. I don't give a fuck. But I love you. I love you guys. All right, podcast done.
Yeah. I'm like,
no, well, no, I want to wait for the.
no, we can do intermission now.
Yeah,
If
let's do that. Let's do a little. All right, guys, we're doing a little intermission. The cameras are about to shut off anyway, so we'll come back in 3. This break is sponsored by Creator Chats Podcast. Get yourself a mug. Take in. That's actually when the sponsors will come, like within this little intermission. This video is sponsored. All right, guys.
Yeah.
BRB. See you in a sec. And guys, we are back. Just had a little intermission, which I think is amazing for ourselves and for you guys, and we are good to go. And yeah, about 25 minutes here. So definitely down the road, you know, as things get bigger, it'd be nice to just have questions, do a little like Q&A afterwards. I think it's just like a very fun way to just keep things rolling. But, you know, we don't have that right now, but that's perfectly fine.
Or you could have, I've seen a lot of podcasts. You don't have to put this on here, but I've seen a lot of podcasts that have like a routine questionnaire at the end.
That's what I want.
Spitfire.
That's what I want.
But that you ask, that you like always have.
So should I just like come up with some questions right now?
Or like, I mean, you can think about them for the future. I mean, this could be no.
No.
But you know what I mean? Like, even if they're generic questions, like,
no, I like that.
What are you doing tomorrow? Or like, what's your next gear thing that you're going to buy? Or, you know what I mean?
Think
Just like
as long as
something
it's
random.
like organic and spontaneous, then yeah, If it doesn't feel right, then like fuck that. I think I've seen that like on hot ones and stuff like that. So they're like, so what is the next move? While they're like dying eating chicken wings, you know? They're like, fuck off. What's the gut saying?
Yeah, what do we?
What do you think is the prime goal or motive of everything you do? Like, why do you do this? Is it for wealth, happiness? Is it for family? Like, why do you keep going? Because this is something I think about quite a bit. And yesterday in particular, like why? If you can try to describe that.
I think there's like 2 to 3 main things, but like one is like the creative urges that I have, and with more money you can do more things and just going places. Just that whole idea of like going places and making things and being creative is so fulfilling. Second is the impact that I know I can have in the future. I think that's it in a nutshell. And then obviously money, hoes, and no, I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say money and impact, man. Yeah.
No, yeah, well, like financial freedom and the freedom to do what you want is like on the top of the list, but also like the creativity that comes with it, like the people I'm gonna be able to meet to make music with, to make more videos, to make photo shoots, to like I'm just so excited to do more things. That just fuels me so much.
It's so close.
What's so close?
No, I feel like a butterfly. Like I literally feel like I've literally just metamorphosized, and that cocoon is just saying peace. I know it sounds so silly, but like that's all I keep thinking about. Like it's literally a brand new chapter in Horizon of like you know what's funny, man? It's like I feel like it's gonna come so fast and be so good and fresh that you forget like that all the struggles. It's weird. Like in that second, you forget.
That's what I want. I don't want to.
It's so new. You don't even remember your old self like that. It's literally like your back's against the wall. There is no. It's like playing a new video game, pressing new beginning. Like there is no way to go back. You know, you have to play the other game. The God of War 1. God of War 2 starts off clean cut.
Mm-hmm.
It's just forward.
Yeah. What about you?
It's a good question.
What drives?
What drives David? See, this is essentially actually why Haroon is here, because like when it gets kind of quiet, Haroon would be like, so Philip, what is your purpose? Haroon's the purpose, dude. Honestly, man, I've really been thinking about this the other day because there's still fear, you know, there's still little bits of fear and doubt. Like I wouldn't even say so much doubt, like doubt's never been a big thing. Maybe we should even speak about this. Doubt's never been a big thing, but honestly, bro, like the biggest reason why, like at the end of the day, you and I like both do this, or at least myself, is like, it's literally purpose. Like it is literally, this is what you were here to do. This is why you were born. There is no other purpose. There is no other route for you. This is how you do it. Like this is your path. There is no other path.
Mm-hmm.
I think money, success, all that stuff, like that's just a byproduct and that'll come. And that's not why we do it though. Like we do it essentially for creative freedom, but purpose, like it all comes back to why you're here, the impact you're going to have on people. And we know this. And sometimes that's a sacrifice, man. Like that's not, and that's why there's fear sometimes, because it's like, sometimes I think like, am I strong enough for this? Like, what if I can't do this? Like there are little things like that. There's no doubt, but there's kind of just like, it's almost like you got to slay these dragons and no one else is going to do it. And you're just like, fuck, here we go. All right, let's do it. And like, you know, you will, but you're just like, why the fuck you choose me, motherfucker? Like sometimes you're just like, I got to be the one to slay all these fucking demons. Like you couldn't have chose someone else. But at the end of the day, we know like we're so grateful and we're so happy.
Yeah.
So that's, I think to me, where it all comes back is like purpose. We're leaving an impact. We need to do this. If we don't do this, I don't think you fulfilled your purpose and you have to fucking get born again and do this shit all over again. Like, no, we're doing this right now, man.
Yeah.
We're doing this. So when we die, we're saying peace, guys. Much love. Thank you. And I believe that's how life, like, it's so ironic. That's like, and I was literally thinking about this the other day, because when you get afraid, you know, when you guys following your hero's call to adventure, there are going to be challenges and resistance. I truly believe like you're protected on this path. On all other paths, life's like, bet you're on your own, champ. I told you to follow this path. You didn't. You think that's the safe route? You're fucked. Yeah, you have no guidance now. So it may seem like you're safe, but you're not, bro. Where like you could be walking through dangerous, horrible waters, but you're good. It's very, you know.
We've talked about that, how like the right path is actually the easiest path.
Mm-hmm.
And like people look at us like, it's so hard. Like how's the music? It's so hard. Like, it's so difficult. And it's like, no,
For you,
I'm
it is.
doing the easiest thing possible. What's really hard for me is going to do a 9 to 5, or that's a classic thing to say. But
I know, but something that doesn't
anything
resonate with you.
that's just
Off that path.
when it doesn't resonate. And I think we're so sensitive and in touch with our emotions and our impulses that we feel it more, whereas other people are a little more numb, that they can't feel that urge of like what they want to do. I really believe that's what it is. I think we're just hypersensitive, so we can't not do what we have to do.
Dude, they're literally watching in the most humble of ways. You're watching two gods right now. That's all I keep thinking about. Like, I think like I got Philip on the podcast, and the reason he was a bit later is like, I think this is the only podcast I'm going to get Philip on, because like there's no need after this. Like, please absorb this. Like, dude, you're literally watching like Russ and Ed Sheeran right now. I'm being completely...
You're watching David Hammond and Philip Garcia.
I don't know, man. And you know what? There's a point where it's like, David, don't say that you're being cocky. I know this is the truth. Like, I know. Fact is not cocky. If it's factual, it's not cocky. Like, you can mark my fucking words. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I bounce back and
I
forth.
don't even
like,
think this is a necessarily normal podcast where it's like I ask. This is just like, a humble reminder of just like the last like glimpse. Much love. Philip was like my other half soulmate as we were building on this journey, and I'm finally able to just like lastly capture that.
Yeah. Haroon, what do you think? Haroon, you fucked up. Where are you, man?
No, man, no, this is perfect. I don't want Haroon in this, bro, because like I don't even really need to ask you too many things because I already know.
Yeah.
Our conversations are so funny, and hopefully this is something different for them. This is almost like a mukbang. You know when people just like chat and like people watch? It's not even so much a podcast. This is kind of just like...
You're watching two friends.
Just, yeah, exactly. Just chat. I think that's kind of like, but like I'm completely fine. Like I want everyone to be different.
Yeah. Gratitude.
Dude, that's literally all I'm feeling. Just processing gratitude, happiness, thankful, fucking courage, fucking dick slapping in the most humble ways, man. Like just like I'm getting fucking like emotional, man. I want to I'm trying not to fucking cry. Holy fuck. I don't know why, dude. I just keep looking at this camera and I just see you and me just sitting here alive after all those fucking challenges that no one will know. That a lot of times only you and I will know. And how everyone can suck my fucking dick. And just like, I don't know. It gets me fucking sad, but like so happy. And just like, I'm so grateful for like all you guys and everything. And just like, I don't know, like I'm just like ready to die. Like you can fucking kill me, bro. Like I've done this shit. Like we've done this shit, but we've fucking put in our dues. Walked through the fucking fire. Holy fuck. Like you can't, if I'm not dead yet, you can't fucking kill me. Like that. Yeah. Beep, beep, beep. Yeah, I mean, dude, we can wrap it up soon. It doesn't have to be too long.
I just feel bad. We need to give the people more. I mean, we've given...
David, it's so about you, motherfucker. I want to know about Philip. All right, let's bring it back to a bit more business, tangible then.
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to like take myself out of our conversation because it's so like... I'm just trying to get into other people's shoes to like see how... You know what I mean?
100%. All right, let's bring it back to you guys. I'm sorry I just had my little spiel. I just got a little emotional there. I'm definitely going to have like little clips of the podcast, and that's going to be like a clip. So for you, Philip, bringing it back to you, and as far as music and as far as inspiring and helping other people, because the entire purpose of this is to see like ourselves in younger form, like a musician just starting, seeing you walking through that fire and still being able to make it. What advice would you give to your younger self of people essentially just doing what you're doing, but just beginning and facing this quote unquote resistance?
Part of me is just like, don't change a thing because like everything's meant to go the way it is, even how hard it might be. Because don't you think sometimes you'd fuck things up if you like changed
It's a very spiritual standpoint.
I'm sorry. I'm
we
like
have nothing to say.
I know it's like such a shit response.
This is why I can't ask these tangible questions, because we're just like, just do it. It'll happen. There's no advice.
No. Well, one thing I was just thinking about right now, it might unrelate to or relate too much to what we were just talking about, was because we talk about dying pure and we want to be like clear of all.
Give me one sec, bro.
I think, low power.
Yeah.
If there's something that like helps people that in my way of helping, this is kind of like a selfish response to, I'm not actually giving value right now, but the way I want to give value is in music and in video. So like documenting the journey is like my way of like giving back, because I know there are going to be a ton of people who want to do what I've done, just like me looking up to Ed Sheeran, looking up to Russ. I'm just a byproduct of them, but realizing the things that they didn't do and just doing it better and doing it my way too. But
yes.
Yeah. And also with the music, just tearing myself apart for other people. Like, do you think it's nice to talk about personal relationships in songs, and like when only friends and family are listening to your music at the moment? Do you know how hard that is? Like, people don't understand. Like, it's kind of stupid. Like singing about your dad or mom when like they're going to hear it. Right. It's like, you're not doing it for yourself. I mean, you are in a sense, but
martyr. That the word?
Yeah, in a way. And people think it's cheesy or like you're faking when you say that, but it's true. Like, but at the same time, the only way I'm gonna get success is if I am like completely giving all myself to it. So it's
a double-edged sword.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a lot of money, but I'm also tearing myself apart and like quote unquote ruining relationships. But that's not true, because if that ruins a relationship, then so be it. I don't want it to be there anyways. Yeah,
exactly. It's, it's that whole thing where it's like you can only get to your 50th best video by going through your first. You can only get to that, like that's like the trick. The only way you can get to that goal is to first go through, like, you have to speak about this and this and this, which like is gonna like brush off this and this and this till eventually you hit it, and then it all comes back, and everyone loves you. That's one of the biggest sacrifices that I try to explain to you guys is like what's your take on that, as far as possibly friends or family or just these things that are kind of like resistance blocks now that it's not this super, like, it's not super strong. It would be if you made them happy by going to do this or doing this, but in the long term, it just being way fucking worth it. Like, what's your take on that? That's something I deal with a lot.
Yeah, I just see it as like, you're just doing what you're meant to do, or like what's in your heart, and being able to distinguish what's fear and what's not. And like, if it's coming from love, like we always say, then like, you shouldn't be afraid, like, although it can hurt in the short term, but like you said, in the long run, it will be so worth it. Telling your mom how you feel, or telling your brother, it's so, like, there's no other way of doing it. I would hate to live a life where you just kind of like just like tiptoe around everything, and then you turn 40 and you're like, this relationship isn't even real.
Word. Holy shit.
Like, that happens all the time. I just finished writing a song that is directed at my dad, and it's kind of weird to say this, but like, I don't like, if I'm able to write the song that's like pure and how I really feel, obviously there is a bit of angst in the song because it's natural, songs have that, then I shouldn't be afraid to put it out. And if he gets upset, then so be it. It's the truth, and I'd want to die pure. That's one of the lyrics in the song. I want to die pure. I don't know where this came from. Like, I just felt the inspiration to.
Oh, that was exactly what I was looking for. It's for you guys. The only way to get through the fire is to walk through the fire. That's it. There's no way around it.
Yeah.
You can't, like, you need to purge that. You need to explain this to this to this, and put yourself out there and seemingly embarrass yourself and have you literally have to head on just.
I think what that does is it changes the perspective of doing the risky path, or talking to your dad when it's like, but this could. It's like, there is no other way. It's just changing the perspective of
yes.
Oh, but this could happen. It's like, yeah, but you could die like with all this dirt in you that you didn't clean up. Like, what kind of life is that? You want a fake? Yeah, I've said my piece, but
yeah, exactly. That's it.
Because like some people don't see it like that, and as soon as like you say it, maybe some people will take it, maybe not. But I don't know. I don't give a fuck.
No, it's true. Courage, and just I don't know. Like, I fucked up the last podcast. I don't even know if I posted it, to be honest. And initially, it's that burn. It's that, like, fuck. But you have to literally go ahead.
Face it.
And, like, the thing is, too, is, like, I was watching Gary Vee yesterday, and something that kind of resonated with me was, like, he was like, if you don't love losing, you've already lost. And that got me thinking, like, in the context where I thought of it, like, once that burn sizzled out, I wanted to make more podcasts so much fucking better and harder. Like, right after I messaged Philip, I was like, this is going to be the best fucking podcast ever. And I made an oath to myself, like, every podcast after this one is going to be so fucking good. It's the same thing. It's just head on. If you know it's going to make your dad uncomfortable, like, then you know you have to do it.
100%.
Like, and you know, not even just do it, but hammer the motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way to do it. You know?
Yeah. And bigger than that, like not bigger than that, but like, when I'm 40 and listening back to this album or these songs, I really want it to be a timestamp of my life now. Like, I don't, because I feel like some of the old songs are like, obviously it encapsulates my time, but not in the way that, like, I'll be able to look back and, like, feel that I was in that room again. That's my biggest thing too, is, like, another thing, like, I really want to listen back and feel that
Authenticity.
Yeah, it's authenticity. And that's another thing that I realized, like, in the last couple of months of, like, writing in more of a personal tone, is like, I should be able to write about anything, and if it's, like, how I really feel, it will come out right. If I'm afraid to write about it, it's because I'm afraid that I'm not saying it in the right way. You know what I mean? Like, you should be able to write about anything. Kind of.
Why do you think people don't write about things, or why would you not want to write about things if you want to? You know, is it like fear of what other people are going to think? Is this good enough? Like, what do you think? Because I don't write songs. Like, I'm genuinely wondering this. Like, when you do write songs, what are common roadblocks that you know you're like, I've dealt with this before. I see this coming up, and then what do you do to just?
I think the most common roadblock is hurting other people. It's not so much myself. I'm pretty ruthless with, like, I've called myself a fucking loser repeatedly in one song. Like, I'm not. Yeah, I think it's just the other people. And when that comes up, it's learning to. That's one thing that I've been, like, if the last couple of months that I've been really thinking about a lot is communication and learning how to communicate what I'm trying to say. Because it's so much harder than you'd think. You think, like, you're saying the words and people should get it, but it's like that. You're not explaining it exactly outright. Like, Chris Rock said this. I'm telling good. People come up to him and tell him that, like, I'm telling good jokes, but people aren't finding it funny. It's like, it's not that your jokes are funny. It's that you're not setting it up right. And that's so facts. Like, and yeah. So back to the song thing. If I'm writing a personal song about said person, if I can communicate how I feel right, then I won't be afraid to. Then I shouldn't be afraid to say it, because I've said how it comes out right. Like, is that too confusing? Sometimes I get. I'm working on the communication. Okay, this is what I'm working on right now.
Just our thoughts are so out there that we're trying, and I think that's.
I'm trying to.
That's where I relate with it when, like, you say set it up. It's like I can say something so true. That's why I use so many metaphors. That's the exact reason why I say, like, oh, I'm a butterfly. I'm a fucking peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah.
People are like, what the? Like, I literally have to do that so I can think and so people can be like,
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're like, what is this godly conceptual idea? What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
So just speak your truth, essentially. Like, that's something that, again, like, I'm trying to do too. Like, always to just speak your truth. Even if you sound funny, man, or you sound like a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
I just said I'm a butterfly. But, like, if it comes out and you feel it, like, I think you have a moral obligation. You have to say it.
Yeah.
And we're not even dealing with, like, the super big lashback right now. I think that's where a bit of, like, the fear, like, anxiety of, like, the future, which, like, don't have, because fear is, a lot of it's bullshit, but, like, you have, like, I think the reoccurring thing that you and I are talking about is you have to just fucking hit all of these doubts or whatever it is, like, anything that's kind of flaring up, head on. And that's not fucking easy, man.
Yeah.
No. I'm trying to hit about an hour. Like 12 minutes.
So, what works sometimes is when we talk about, like, like really mundane shit. Like remember when we talked about tattoos and that was kind of fun.
But dude, that's
I think that's what we need to do with ourselves sometimes because we get so like
yes.
that we always come to the same resolution. It's always
Yes.
We
It's
always
always like purpose, passion, break, done. Done.
Yeah, we should almost like just stop. Like, I think we've said our piece, but no, I mean, there's always more to say. But.
Right. I think that's kind of where like this was going. It was almost just like kind of like just like an average, just like chill talk. Like Philip and I, guys, we just have so many of these talks every day that there's almost like nothing left to spill out because the thing is, it's like when you talk, usually you're trying to resolve something. There's nothing to resolve. Like neither of us are coming in with an issue. We know what we have to do. We know what's ahead, and we do it. Mm-hmm. So like having this podcast, it may kind of seem like you guys aren't saying much. Well, it's like we have nothing to. There's nothing to say. We know it needs to be done. It's just a matter of patience.
That's why I like to sometimes just talk about like
peanut butter sandwiches.
Exactly. No, like real shit.
And that's where the Q&A would also, down the road be nice. Just to be like, Philip,
to ground us.
Like, just to keep things back to like ground level. Maybe that's our next. What's your take on that, man? Of like mortals and stuff like that, of just like being able to stay humanly, because I believe that's why like I've aged now in my life, as far as like I think I've just accepted the role of like I'm trying to make you a god when you shouldn't be. Mm-hmm. And again, take this like, how you want it, but like what's your take on that? The balance, the split between God mode, mortal mode.
I think it's like we always say, like I think everyone has their purpose, and I think we should almost like it's not that we're gods and human, mm-hmm. although we like to do that. I think it's more like this, as in they just play here and we play here.
Yeah.
We're no better or worse than anyone. Like if there are just certain valves in their lives that they can't open. Maybe mm-hmm. I mean, maybe that's not true, but fuck, we're kind of born like this. You know what I mean? And they can do things that we can't do, and maybe.
So like, what's your take on that though, as far as like finding that balance? Because like Philip and I, like on that spectrum of like purpose, nothing else matters, to just fuck around. Most people, no offense, just fucking do what the fuck ever. We're so like right or left field, like 99.9%.
Yeah.
And my question is like, do you just stay there and become like a monk and just fuck everyone, or do you try to find that balance? Like to me, I've been trying to utilize the girlfriend to like ground me. We watch Netflix just to kind of like normal things, or do you just say fuck that and you just run? Because I think there are certain times where like both are beneficial.
I'm interested to see. I think you'll relate to this now. I consciously decided that these are my grind years, that I will give up X amount of years to get what I want, and then after that is when I'm gonna kind of like loosen up and become a bit more normal. Although knowing me, that's probably not gonna happen.
That's what I mean. That's my biggest fear too. Not fear, but like we tell ourselves we're going to do that.
But because I've made that like a plan, I know that when it happens, and if I keep going right to the left field or right field or whatever you want to call it, after I've made it and like I've gotten a certain amount of success, I almost need to put a cap number on it to know the turning point of like, okay, you made $1 million. Now let's go. Just be a bit more normal, and because those things are enjoyable too. Like, don't get it wrong. Like
but dude, that is the enjoyment. That's where it's all backwards. People have this misconception that there's work and there's play. I'm at my 9 to 5. I'm back home chilling. No, you're not following your fucking purpose. That's why you feel miserable like that. You live in the world of dualities. Your purpose is just one. You were always in a state of this is it.
Yeah, I think. I think we're just gonna chill out a little more.
I guess it'll just
hopefully
happen.
I don't know, man. I think we're just gonna be so restless.
But that's what I mean, dude. I think about that, like a big milestone. I think I've told myself in the upcoming months, whenever it happens, is like when shit begins to really just crack, I want to go to Thailand for like a month and just detox and chill. But I don't know if I'm gonna be fucking chilling. I might be recording every fucking day, but it's like, what if that's okay? What if we're just meant to be this way and that's perfectly fine, and like this is our chill? What if finding our mortal Netflix chill is fucking the opposite?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. These are all things that like we think about. Like I think about like.
No, but there are definitely certain things that I want to make sure I do in my life that follow that more, just having fun and going out and drinking and having a girlfriend, going out. Like
Absolutely.
I definitely want to do all that stuff.
Yes, but I feel like it's got to be like the right people, man. I can't drink with idiots, man.
No.
I would love drinking with you, like partying and hanging out with people like us, but I just...
I was just thinking.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I was like, because I might not be going to Portugal I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't even want to say it, but if I stayed here this year and just was online presence only, we should just go to Montreal for a fucking week.
Oh,
and just like chill out. You know what I mean? Like,
I think you'd be the only person I'd want to go chill and travel with, because our chill is
no,
like,
but I feel like we should do that.
okay, let's do it.
Just go to Montreal for like, and like, I mean, we'd probably bring the cameras because that's what we do. But like,
Let's be real.
but just like kind of like try and just like let loose for like a couple days,
Uh,
and know that Monday we'll get back to it, or like we'll just go back to our normal ways. But you know what I mean,
dude,
I think it'll be a good challenge for us, like, because we talk about stretching ourselves, and I think that's a way we could stretch ourselves.
when you want to do it, a couple months.
I think when the weather gets a little better, yeah.
Warmer, okay. You're thinking like springtime,
Springtime, yeah, May
Cool,
or
like,
something.
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
April.
April, May, yeah. Yeah, we should do
You
it.
heard it here, yeah. Well, I mean, we're kind of gonna be traveling all the time, bro. So I'm not really like,
Yeah.
It's kind of like, and I think that's actually something I keep envisioning too. Like how, dude, do you know how fucking awesome it's gonna be? Because we relate with this now, but especially then on a tangible level when we're in Montreal. Sometimes, I don't know if you guys have these like drunk moments where like you're drunk or you're this or you're that, or you're just in like a different altered conscious state and you really reflect on your life for like a few minutes and you're like partying, doing whatever, living life, and then knowing like this is your life. Like you've built up to this, like this is now your reality. There's no, you know, like for school, like you have an amazing weekend. You're like, oh, like in grade 8, you're like, oh, but I got fucking school tomorrow. There is none of that. There is no on and off. Like this, like you can do the same shit tomorrow and the day after and the day after. Like you've done it. I think to me that is like one of the most magical, even though I haven't fully experienced that yet. Like that's, who can get to say they experienced that? That is something like 0.2% of people get to say they do. So that's something I'm looking forward to, that feeling. Yeah, guys. So we're about to finish it off. We're about 55 minutes now. Just like the last little thing. And then Philip and I are going to go for a walk and eat some bomb ass food, or at least I am, because #fasting life. But, yeah. If you guys, because, you know, regardless of how many views this podcast gets right now, I know if Philip's on it, eventually people are going to be searching for this shit. So please, guys, if you have questions for Philip, like he said, like, I don't know if you want to touch on this, like, feel free to reach out to either of us, but like, reach out. Like, what are your takes on that when people kind of, you know,
oh, for
have
sure,
advice, like they want to ask you, like, Philip, help.
please do. Yeah, 100%. I mean, like, that's not even a question. Yeah.
All links will be down below, guys. YouTube, Instagram. Stay on the lookout. I didn't really touch too much on like the songs Philip's gonna be putting out, because like, you know, I'm not gonna be the one that says that, but like they're fucking sick, man. He showed me, I think he showed me 2 or 3.
Yeah, 2 or 3. Yeah.
You know when like some friends kind of are just there, like, yeah, man, they're like really good, like hyping you up, like, no, dude, like I don't even have to be your friend, like I don't have to know you. Like I wouldn't know it was made in your basement. I wouldn't know how old you were. You were, oh, he's 21. None of those barriers. I'm thinking like, yeah, this is a song. Like you play it on the radio, it just fully meshes in. I'm like, yeah. There's no like distinct like.
Yeah, I'm super proud. I'm working so hard on this shit. Like, I'm spending so much time, and that's why I haven't surfaced from social media. I'm like getting this right, and
Dude.
like, cause yeah, we know this is turning point, so I got to be ready for when things do.
Yeah, so I guess we'll finish it there, guys. Be on the lookout. Stay tuned. Stay up to date on the stuff. Some really cool stuff. And it's funny I'm saying this, but like some really cool stuff is coming, because I think it's because like I've seen an inside scoop. Not too many people have, you know?
No.
And yeah, please, guys, just get yourself saddled in. Believe in yourself. Do all your stuff. Go nuts. And please learn from our mistakes, or just use any of this as inspo as you possibly can, because, you know, in the most humble of ways, I think we've seen the other side, and you can get there too.
Yeah. Thanks for spending your time with us. We do appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Someone spending an hour of their day with us.
Oh, dude, 100%. Even if you just watch this last little bit, we love you guys. Thank you so much. If I ever come, especially me, not so much Phil, if I ever come across as a little like maybe egocentrical or a little like rah sometimes, it's usually out of love. Sometimes I vent and I have like repressed fucking anger from like years of sacrifice, but like, I love you guys. Thank you so much. Don't take it too personal if maybe something offended you. That's not the intent for this. And, yeah, guys, so we got about 58 minutes. Thank you guys. Finish there. Links down below. Much love. Philip, you want to say a last little whatever?
No, I think that's it.
All right. Peace, guys. Till then, peace.